In all the coverage over the arrest of Bob Kraft for soliciting prostitution at a Florida day spa, it's been clear that two things have been driving the story. One is it's Bob Kraft. The other is that there is video. And now a media collective is suing for its release.
He is one of the individuals.
Ever since he was charged with solicitation in mid-January, Bob Kraft has found himself in a constant news cycle.
In Florida, New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft has pleaded not guilty to 2 misdemeanor charges of soliciting prostitution.
Over the weekend, the Boston Globe and the New York Times published 2 mostly flattering pieces about Kraft, focusing on his Jewish heritage, his philanthropy, and dedication to his late wife, Myra. The stories also came on the heels of an apology.
I am truly sorry. I know I have hurt and disappointed my family, my close friends, my coworkers, our fans, and many others who rightfully hold me to a higher standard.
But in court, Kraft is hanging tough. His lawyers have now filed 2 motions to suppress evidence, specifically videotape showing him receiving sexual services at a massage parlor.
He wants all the evidence, specifically the video evidence, kept out of the public's view.
But a consortium of Florida and national media outlets have countersued, arguing Florida courts have long recognized that government records are presumptively open and that the Public Records Act is to be construed liberally in favor of access. If the video is released, it opens the question, what will the media do with it? Well, there's no question in my mind that all of these negotiations back and forth with Bob Kraft over what his plea is has to do with the video. He's desperately trying to keep it under lock and key. As you know, Dan, Florida does have one of the most free, open access laws, and if it was up to them, this would have been out by now. And law enforcement has made that clear. So it will probably eventually come out. They believe that, too. The question is, what are we all going to do with it? Are we going to show clips of it? Are we going to show it in its entirety? Once it's out there, some people will show it in its entirety. I understand, I haven't seen it, that at some portions of it, the tape dips to black, so everything is not quite that clear because the lights go out. But nonetheless, I think the gist of it will be clear.
I don't understand why they want to show this tape. What are you going to do? Pixelate out his stuff? What are you going to do with it? If you just show it to the point where he walks in the door, is that enough? I just don't understand it. I also don't understand how the Kraft folks have let it play out to this length. I think that whoever's driving this crisis management bus are the lawyers, I believe. And the longer it goes, the more chance there is that something like this is going to happen. I think it's just for him right now, it's a question if you want to just get off the field right now, or he could have gotten off the field a lot earlier than that.
No, I disagree. I think it's all about the tape, and that's why it's going on.
He could have fought that if he had, I think, taken his humble pie right away and moved on. I just don't think he's doing himself any disservice. He's going to lose like the 86 Patriots did to the Bears at this point.
It's a public record. It should be out there. It shouldn't be out there. I'm sorry. Let me retreat. This is not a video that I want to see.
I don't want to see it.
I don't know that it's a video that anybody else wants to see either.
But a lot of people want to see it.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. But it is a public record, and I would think that what a responsible news organization would do would be to view it, describe it, and it adds to their understanding of what exactly was going on in that massage parlor. There's no reason to withhold this public record.
Well, you sound like the Mueller people. You sound like Attorney General Barr. Well, there's no reason. I'm giving you a summary. If you get the tape, Dan, you're going to have to show it.
What are we going to understand about him in the incident by seeing it?
Yeah, that's the big question, right? Yeah. What are the facts that are being contested that the tape might shine some light on? I'm, to be honest, not entirely clear on what those would be. And I would
whether the acts were illegal. He's saying he didn't do anything illegal.
Right. Well, and I guess that's a case where if you see him handing money to someone, for example, that would strongly imply that he did do something illegal, right? So you can show that without showing the nastiest stuff, which I got to say, I'm actually with you guys. I remember you gave me a hard time earlier in the week when I said, I'm not sure I want to watch this, but I really don't think I do want to see this if it comes to light.
I think it's verification. To your point about describing it, it's one thing for the cops to say what they said, and then a lot of people initially push back on the cops, remember, and saying, well, wait a minute, was it this or was it that?
Yeah.
So let's have some journalists look at it and say, here's what it was. Yeah. And then, the problem is the responsible. There will be some responsible journalists who would determine which pieces of that make sense in terms of verification. There are others that would just say, let's just show it. so you don't really have control over it once it's out. So I see your point. But right now, I think there is some dispute, both from his part and from pushback against what the police in Florida say they saw, that we don't know exactly what happened. And it seems to me there's more than an exchange of money. If the thing says massage parlor and nails, and you're going in there for a little something extra, well, I mean, that's something that can be verified by people looking at the tape. I do want to see it.
Yeah.
It's not my story. I said I don't want to see it. No. Others do, though. I do know
I've
that.
admitted I'll watch it.
I think it's perfectly legitimate for the media to be able to say, we have viewed the video, it is as the police described it, or it isn't as the police described it.
Yes. And
without providing it to their audiences?
Yeah,
I wouldn't provide it
you
to
don't
their
have
audiences,
to.
but some
But
will.
I think Emily is right. Once you get
have
it,
to.
I do think that then something,
who are you?
a different decision is
The
going to be made.
gatekeeper of all things tasteful. It's like I'll be the judge.